Item Number, SCP-2205. Object Class, Neutralized, formerly Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. As of June 6, 2005, all Foundation assets tasked with monitoring the properties held by SCP-2205 have confirmed the ceasing of all anomalous activity matching previously described abnormal properties. A review of all currently existing records of former PFC-1 Mr. Dwight Montgomery-Patterson is to be made by a Foundation-operated team of historiography specialists once every 3 years. Any further changes in Mr. Patterson's service record are grounds for the reclassification of SCP-2205 as Euclid and the resumption of active monitoring. Previous containment procedures. Containment to SCP-2205 is divided between two task forces. Task Force Omega-34-01, Office Duty, is tasked with analyzing relevant written documentation or imagery pertaining to Mr. Dwight Montgomery-Patterson's military service during the anniversary of relevant events pertaining to the Second World War while coordinating with Task Force Omega-34-02, Recon Unit, in order to establish a connection between Mr. Dwight Montgomery-Patterson's disappearances from the ongoing timeline and significant alterations in Mr. Patterson's military reports. Any details obtained as a result of this active monitoring are to be detailed in SCP-2205's database file. Description: SCP-2205 is the defined designation for an anomalous phenomenon involving two different instances of a single human being that hold the ability to significantly modify the properties of past and ongoing reality. Private Dwight Patterson, age 24, United States Army Rifleman, 1920 to 1944, is the first instance of SCP-2205, supposedly located within the participants of the end events of the Second World War. This instance of Mr. Patterson has been registered as a soldier for the Allied forces for 15 months until his death from an MG-42 gunshot to the chest in June 6, 1944, during the landings inside Normandy commanded by the Allied forces under the designation of Operation Neptune. Private Patterson was survived by a single daughter, product of a 3-year marriage with Ms. Amanda Montgomery, 1917 to 1998, that ended in 1943 after his enlisting. Mr. Dwight Montgomery-Patterson, age 85, retired salesman, 1920 to 2005, is the second instance of SCP-2205, supposedly located within the United States living population until the year of 2005. This instance of Mr. Patterson was dismissed with honors by the United States Army for multiple heroic actions in the 1944 Normandy landings under the designation of Operation Neptune. This instance of Mr. Patterson expired from an aortic aneurysm in the date of June 6, 2005. Mr. Patterson was survived by 3 daughters and 2 sons, products of a 58-year marriage with Ms. Amanda Montgomery, 1917 to 1998, that ended in 1998, after her death due to old age. Forward, the following was found during a routine inspection in Mr. Montgomery-Patterson's household with the usage of cover story Omega-04, dengue fever agents. The letter was collected and scanned for further analysis by Foundation personnel. Mandy. Life is really empty without you here. I haven't done what I wanted to and I don't want to keep going. I wish I could go back. I wish I could get out of this bed and die so I don't have to miss you this badly. I want you to see me as your hero for the rest of your long life. My life has no purpose if you are not here with me. Not all medals in the world can replace you. I hope that wherever you are they are treating you well. Yours forever, Dwight. Event Log 2205A, June 6, 2005. TF Omega-34-01 has detected and registered a divergence in behavior of SCP-2205 along with TF Omega-34-02. The following picture had been previously documented as Mr. Patterson's first instance's location during the Normandy landings. Monitoration reports showed that Mr. Montgomery-Patterson simultaneously disappeared from his house in Redacted, Minnesota. 8 hours after the disappearance, major corruption was registered in the original aforementioned printed picture, where Mr. Patterson's presence was seemingly removed from the printed image. Mr. Montgomery-Patterson rematerialized at his home 30 minutes later and began to show symptoms of what was later diagnosed as exsanguination due to an aortic aneurysm. Emergency services were reported to attempt cardiopulmonary resuscitation without success, resulting in Mr. Montgomery-Patterson being pronounced as deceased. Simultaneously, the casualty report of Mr. Patterson was altered to match Mr. Montgomery-Patterson's death date. Dr. Margaret Weber, Chief Operative of Task Force Omega 34-01. Addendum 2205A, further observation made by Foundation assets following the sudden disappearance of Mr. Montgomery-Patterson from his household and consequent death culminated in a massive loss of historic data from the Second World War brought to modern historiography's attention by himself. Any official records about Mr. Montgomery-Patterson's honored dismissal from the United States Army as well as any officially registered documentation were registered as missing data. At time of writing, the location of the remains of Mr. Montgomery-Patterson is considered unknown. Addendum 2205B, the following note was found at Mr. Montgomery-Patterson's bedside after his cardiac arrest and consequent expiration. It's time for me to finally rest at your side, where you will be waiting with open arms and a smile. Won't you? I am sure you will.